I don't know about you, but when summer rolls around, I love buying and eating all the fruit. Maybe it's because it's so hot outside, or maybe because so many of my favorite fruits are in season. So my first guest is here to make a dessert that really highlights two fruits that are peak right now: peaches and blackberries. It's a recipe from her cookbook, Simple Fruit. Welcome back to New Day, Laurie Pfalzer. So glad to have you
good
here.
Good to be here. Thank you.
I am excited because we're making this pie crostini. I don't know what this is called.
So it's called different things. So in my book, I call it a crostata, which is the Italian word usually.
Crostata.
French call it a galette often, but they use that for cake too. So, you know, there you go. And some people just call it an open face pie.
And the thing I like most about this is it doesn't look too hard. I told you that I'm kind of terrified of pies.
Yes, and this is, you know, as an instructor and then also my book, you know, my goal is to take the fear out of it.
Okay.
And it's really just pie. You have to think about it.
It's just pie. It's just
pie.
Okay.
So let's make some crust first, and then we'll talk about the fruit.
All right, we'll get there.
So for the crust, just 4 ingredients.
All right.
All right. So you can start out with flour. That's 1 1/4 cups. I've already measured this out for you.
Thank you.
And a 1/2 teaspoon of salt.
Is this measured too?
Yep.
All right, thank you.
Made it easy for you. You can just toss it together with a fork,
right.
which is actually how my mother and grandmother always made theirs. It's easy.
Yeah.
And then we're going to toss in butter, which is not quite as cold as it should be, but that's a 1/2 cup or a stick of butter.
And you just kind of...
And so I would use your fingers at this point. You could use a pastry cutter, but what I like to do is just get in and just pinch it and toss it.
All right.
Pinch it and toss it.
Pinch and toss. Okay.
And what you're going to do is you're going to work in some of the butter into the flour, and the flour is going to start to look a little yellow, but you're also going to leave some of the butter in little chunks, and that is what creates your flakiness, so that the water in the butter creates steam, and that's what creates puff.
So the pockets of steam is what is created with science.
Yeah, croissant, same thing. That's what creates those pockets.
Oh, neato.
So, and you can feel that that's not super cold butter. It should be cold, but
you want it to be really cold butter. Okay.
Yeah.
Because that's also part of the science, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So go ahead and toss it just a little bit, and now we're going to start adding some water.
Okay.
All right. And so...
Am I done with my fingers here?
Yes, you're done with your fingers.
Okay.
Let me give you a towel here.
Oh, thank you. I'm your sous chef. All right.
All right. So we're going to start with some water.
Okay.
And it won't need very much water. I'm going to start with 3 tablespoons.
All right.
And you can just toss it with the fork.
Okay. I love using a utensil.
Do you want to do it, or do you want me to do it?
I can do it for you.
Okay,
I got
there you go.
Okay.
So you just want to toss it. So once you start adding water, you don't want to work it too hard because that's what creates gluten structure.
Oh.
So we want to be gentle with it. Tossing it with your hands, tossing it with the fork is perfectly fine.
Okay.
If you're going to use your hands, what I would do is just get in and toss it like this.
Okay.
And I'll toss it until I don't feel water anymore. And this is probably about right. So you can see how it's coming together in clumps. If I grab it and just kind of turn it over a few times. It needs a little bit. You can see it's not quite picking it up.
All right, got it.
So just maybe a half tablespoon.
So you want it to be like slightly coagulated?
Yes, it should start to come together, but it shouldn't come together in a big lump.
Okay.
So if it does, it's too wet or you've overworked it.
Oh.
So yeah. All right, so this is perfect.
Okay.
So we're going to put it out on the table here, and then I'm going to have you go ahead and just push it together, and then you can flatten it out with your hand a little bit, and we're going to give it a couple folds. And this is what creates a little bit of flakiness.
Oh.
So go ahead and press it out again.
Okay, and then fold it again like this.
And then we're going to make it into a little round disc.
Okay.
And this would get chilled for at least a half hour. An hour is better in the fridge, obviously, and you could do it overnight. So you can make this way ahead. You can double wrap them, stack them up in your freezer when it comes, you know, if you're making a lot of pie.
Oh, okay.
All right. So then we're gonna make filling first and second here.
I'm so glad you showed me that, because I think if I read that, I wouldn't quite understand what it was supposed to look like, what it meant for the butter not to be mixed in. So this was so helpful. Really,
there is definitely a benefit to, you know, the in-person teaching. So, all right, so we're gonna make the blackberry filling here.
Okay.
And this is 4 cups of blackberries. We can add a peach in if you want to.
Yeah, I love a peach.
Okay, so I would put in maybe about 3/4 of those.
Okay, these are beautiful blackberries.
The blackberries are from Spooner Farms.
Ooh.
And they are in the Puyallup Valley. And I got both of my fruits from Yakima Fruit Market in Bothell. But I love to, I'm a patron of a lot of the different farms around the area.
I think that's wonderful.
Farmers markets.
I have a gigantic, evil blackberry bush behind my house. Could I use those?
Yes,
okay.
You can. As long as, I would not use them if you think they're being sprayed, but I don't think that we spray anymore in Washington. Certainly not in the counties around
but
here.
You should look in them to make sure there's no bugs and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you'll see that. I think you'll be pretty safe.
Or do bugs just cook out?
Well, bugs do cook out, but but I'm not sure you'll see that to be a problem.
Okay.
I think
they're perfect.
Yeah, so anywhere you can pick blackberries, that's one of the great things about blackberries. Unfortunately, they are a little invasive, but you might as well take advantage of them.
Might as well.
Them,
okay.
Right?
So we've got our one peach. If I wanted to add maybe more peach, less blackberry, would it still be okay?
Yes.
Okay.
And you can switch this up. Any type of fruit will work.
All right. Perfect.
All right? So you can put the sugar in.
And how much sugar?
Save just a little bit of that, like a tablespoon.
A tablespoon. Okay.
And we're going to do some cornstarch. So you can put in all that except for a tablespoon.
Oh, except for a tablespoon
sorry.
left. Okay.
That's about a half cup. And this is a 1/4 cup.
Okay.
And a little pinch of nutmeg. I'm not big on spice, but I do like a little bit in there.
And the cornstarch is basically to help get that thicker consistency, right?
Yeah. Inevitably, these will drain, kind of leak all over the place. If it leaks, don't stress.
Okay.
And then this is a vanilla bean, which is a really nice.
I don't think I've ever cooked with like a vanilla bean, but I would feel very fancy if I did.
So I'm going to give you, that would make you use your hands this time.
Okay.
It gets pretty messy. So
And
you go ahead and just toss it, and we'll actually put, you can put a little salt in if we wanted to.
Okay. And when you're doing this, do you want to just take care to make sure the fruit stays whole and complete?
Yeah, I wouldn't smash it too much, but I think you're, good. These berries are quite soft, but really kind of perfect. And the peach and the blackberry is really a nice combination.
Okay. All right, so we got our filling done.
Yep, so you can set that aside for a minute.
Ma'am.
And we're going to roll out some dough here.
Okay.
All right, so this is one that I made earlier.
And ideally, it's been sitting in the refrigerator for how long?
At least overnight? Half hour, but an hour. Yeah, for sure. And this is actually just perfect to roll when you first bring it out. It might be a little bit too hard. Yeah, so you might just have to wait. A little bit of flour down. Okay. And just a little bit on top.
Okay.
And then what you're going to want to do is pound first.
Oh, okay.
And if it cracks, just push it back in.
Okay.
Pick it up, turn it, pound. All right, pick it up and turn it, and then you can start rolling.
Oh my gosh.
So middle up, middle down.
Middle up, middle down.
Yep, and you can give it a little more pressure. There you go. And now you're going to pick it up and turn it. So pick it up, turn it this way.
Okay.
And let's give you a little bit of flour on top. There you go.
These are actually really great tips that, that after you've been doing things a while, sometimes you forget just kind of the basic techniques that make it easier.
Yeah.
So I am really grateful for this.
Yeah. And it's all you're doing is turning it, so she's picked up already. All you're doing is turning it just a 1/4 turn each time.
Okay.
And you're keeping it fairly round. If it comes out oval, it comes out square, it doesn't matter. We're going to trim it, and it all can fold into a nice crostata.
All right.
So, okay. And you're going to go to about 1/8 of an inch.
Okay. Wait.
All right.
Bigger?
Bigger.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now we only have about a minute left.
Okay.
So
I'm going to quickly
She's like, I'm going to get
put
this
it
done
together
for you.
That's all right.
So once you get this out and going on, I see that there's these little crystals on it and everything. So we just dump it in.
So we just put it all in, and if you can't use it all, I'm going to probably cut back just a tad here. And then what I'm going to do is you want to kind of keep it all in. You're going to fold it in. So you're going to fold, put your hand down, fold, fold, and I forgot to trim the edge, which I always say you should do, and I didn't do it today.
Oh, that's okay. I think it looks really nice.
And so then I would freeze it for about 30 minutes.
Freeze this 30 minutes and then put it in the oven.
Little milk on top with a little sugar.
Milk on top and sugar.
And that's it, your blackberry crostata.
So good and so fresh.
Perfect, like August, right?
Perfect August, not too sweet, not too savory. I mean, it's just delicious. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Now, Laurie shared her recipe for this great dish, and you can find it on News website. But what you showed us and the tips you gave, just amazing. Thank you.